the height of the 18th century, the most glorious kingdom in Europe would face a mighty foe, the power of its own people. One man would rise to inspire the nation, to cast aside a reluctant king and a hated queen, and a new republic would be born in blood, the blood of the French Revolution.
Well, it all started with Enlightenment, which was an 18th century movement before the French Revolution when people used reason and science to question and solve things. It encouraged people to participate in government and think for themselves. An example of this would be the American Revolution, when the colonists were tired of the British deciding everything, so they rebelled and started a war against Britain, which they later won and became the United States. Because of this, the colonists created the Constitution, which made sure no one was above the law. The French wrote their Constitution after the Americans, and other countries followed. The Enlightenment continued until 1789, when the French Revolution started and ended the Enlightenment.
Before the Revolution, the ancient regime was a political and social system in force. The Estates General was the name of the government and was composed of 3 estates, or groups of people. The first estate was made up of clergy, who were wealthy, royalty, and owned about 10% of the land in France. The second estate was the nobility, or French nobles, who owned about 25% of the land and weren't taxed but allowed to tax the peasants. How unfair is that? The third estate was the last estate and was made up of commoners, generally peasants and workers, who were taxed harshly, but later a class called the bourgeoisie was made. The bourgeoisie were considered the middle class of France and led the revolution. They were usually bankers, factory owners, and merchants.
Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. Well, I wasn't expecting company. While you're here, I think I'll tell you the story that the ladies love. They always do. Well, the year is 1789 and the French people are starting to unrest. Food and jobs are scarce and people are starting to talk.
I want some croissants. I haven't eaten for so long.
I haven't had a good Wiener Schnitzel never.
You just told me if I wasn't in the third estate and the lowest and the poorest pays all the taxes, so I wouldn't be so crabby and hungry.
Oh, you're back! How was your trip down memory lane? Not so good, you say? Don't worry, this story's just heating up. Anyways, the bourgeoisie, which are members of the third estate, decided that they should rebel and hopefully change France forever. Give me a ball!
This is terrible. I work and I'm still not part of the rich and classy second or first estate that pays 0 taxes.
But madam, have you not heard of the National Assembly called the Third Estate, an attempt to change the state system? It happened on June 17th, 1789. That sounds brilliant. How did that go? Incredible. The king knocked out everybody. What a bummer. But they didn't quit. They had an assembly in one of the king's tennis courts. They led to the oath of the tennis court where they made a French constitution. But Louis XVI was going to use force against the Third Estate.
Oh my God!
Anyways, the soldiers' family were part of the Third Estate, so they did not obey the king. And Louis lost control and couldn't trust the troops any longer.
You won't believe what happened. It was the craziest thing in the world. We went to the tennis courts, right? This kid was going crazy. Should have seen him. We did like backflips all over the place. Oh, he's looking at me. Alright, oh, hold on. They're back. What's that? You don't know who Louis XVI is? Well, I'm going to tell you who he is. Louis XVI was the king of France at the time. He was also son of Louis XIV, who was the greatest king France ever had. Although Louis XVI claimed to be an absolute king, he often sent problems to the monarchy. But he wasn't the only selfish royalty member. Marie Antoinette had no care for the people, and when she heard of the famine, she replied, "Let them eat cake."
Stupid poor people, being so poor, let them eat cake.
Cake! I don't want cake, I want bread! Yeah, bread.
Shush yo, peasants.
Oh my god! Oh, this is awkward. Anyways, how's that story coming along? It's coming along nicely, isn't it? Well, the whole thing didn't happen overnight, you know. There are 4 stages, starting with the National Assembly, then the radical phase, then the Directory, which allowed the main character of the next man was Napoleon Bonaparte.
You think I should go to the 35 or 33? God, doesn't anyone knock anymore? Napoleon does not tolerate some nonsense! I'm sorry, Michelle, but there's a big problem downtown. I know you are very high in the rankings and you usually have other people do this for you, but you were requested. If I had the balls to invade Russia, I think I can handle this. Like I handle that stupid directing government. ¡Vámonos!
That was one intense story, eh? But let me fill you in on some extra facts. Napoleon was imprisoned on an island called St. Helena and later died of stomach cancer there. But his overthrow of the Directory government inspired people in a French colony called St. Dominique to create their own republic called Haiti. It was the first republic ruled by people of African descent. The Congress of Vienna ended all of the fights Napoleon had started. It also reshaped many borderlines in Europe. Now you can pass this fascinating fable down to your children, and your children's children, and your children's children's children. Well, that is if we all don't die in 2012.